a lot of people are giving sympathy to Will Smith after he supposedly slapped Chris Rock. Actually, that's assault if he did. And people are empathizing with him, and they're giving him a little slap on the wrist. And of course, if a person comes to the realization of their fault and they show true contrition, repentance, remorse, then obviously with God there is pardon. But this man had a smirk as he walked away, and he continued to curse out Chris Rock. And the question is, why is there such a mass support for evil behavior, for wicked behavior? That's Hollywood for you. They're going to support evil. They're going to support things that go against morality and the goodness of God and right living and godliness. They're going to support evil behavior. They're going to support their Hollywood actors that engage in immorality, and they're not rebuking the behavior. They're not really coming at it, coming at the root, we should say, because there's an issue here that stems much deeper, and the problem goes way back. And you have to take a look at the way this man, Will Smith, and his, I guess it's his wife, they view relationships. These people have already confessed that they live in an open relationship, meaning that they can easily go in and out the door and have sex and relationships with other people outside their own marriage, and come back and still consider themselves married, and sit down and eat dinner together and go to sleep together and do the same thing another day. Listen, you don't have to take my words for it. Go ahead and listen to the video yourself.
It is not your responsibility to make your wife happy, right? Just like it's not my wife's responsibility to make me happy. It's my responsibility to make me happy, and it's her responsibility to make her happy, and then we're gonna come together and build on that happiness.
Will Smith is continuing to get candid about his marriage to Jada Pinkett Smith. The Philadelphia native reveals that Jada was not the only one engaging in other relationships outside of their marriage. He explains, quote, "We have given each other trust and freedom, with the belief that everybody has to find their own way, and marriage for us can't be a prison, and I don't suggest our road for anybody. I don't suggest this road for anybody, but the experiences and the freedoms that we've given one another and the unconditional support, to me, is the highest definition of love."
Anything that I need to make myself happy, I will present that to my wife, that I need that to be happy. Divorce is not an option. We're gonna be together. So we're gonna figure out how to be happy.
Hitch star says that a lot of details regarding their relationship have already been made public, including Jada's entanglement with singer August Alsina, which she opened up about on her Facebook Watch show, Red Table Talk, in July 2020.
I got into a different kind of entanglement with August. And one thing I want to get clear about and clean up, one of the things that was kind of swirling in the press about you giving permission, which is, the only person that can give permission in that particular circumstance is myself.
Yes. A relationship.
Yes, it was a relationship, absolutely.
Will explains to the mag, in part, quote, "Jada never believed in conventional marriage. And for the large part of our relationship, monogamy was what we chose, not thinking of monogamy as the only relational perfection."
I actually sat down with Will and had a conversation. He gave me his blessing. I totally gave myself to that relationship for years of my life. And I truly and really, really deeply loved and have a ton of love for her.
Your 40th birthday was my low point. The day after her 37th birthday, I hired a team to orchestrate her 40th birthday. I had hired a documentary team. I traced Mommy's family roots. Her 40th birthday was gonna be my thing. And she's told me that the party was the most ridiculous display of my ego.
Now that there tells you that this man has opened a can of worms, a can of demons, by allowing that type of behavior to exist in his relationship, in his marriage relationship. for you to consider yourself a husband, a shepherd, a pastor of your wife, of your family, and not lead her in the right direction, just allow her to wander off and do whatever her heart pleases, and to reason and say this is the way that we're going to have this relationship, and you not put your foot down, you not bring attention to that, but you just give her a consent, and you go along with it with a smile on your face thinking that that's the moral thing to do. You're deranged. There's something wrong with you, man, in your head, in your spirit, in your soul. You're far from God. And you have these public outbursts, and whether, like I said, whether it's real or fake or what, if it's real, you have serious issues. You have serious issues. Now, we've all fallen short of the goodness and the grace of God. But a person comes to grips with their struggles and their problems, and they repent. That means they endeavor to do better. But you haven't addressed the situation with your wife.
Here is how I will change my statement. Will and I both can do whatever we want, because we trust each other to do so. This does not mean we have an open relationship, this means we have a grown one.
If you're listening to this message here today, Will Smith, this isn't to condemn you, but it's to get you on the right track before it's too late. Ephesians 5:25. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it. Now, this isn't just for those that are in the church. This is a universal law. The universal law of God. God instituted marriage, a covenant between a man and a woman, sacred covenant, meaning that they would put off infidelity, they would put off immorality, they would put off fornication and adultery when they come in union and become one flesh. A man shall leave his mother and father and cleave unto his wife, and these two shall be one. That's what happens in a marriage relationship. You don't say, oh, we're going to make these vows, and then your wife comes up with this little idea, or you do, and you say, well, let's have an open relationship so we can remain happy, and she can go out and sleep with other men and commit adultery and come back home, and you guys can just, sit down and like everything's okay. No, that's going to breed evil. And then you're going to have these outlandish outbursts that just don't make any sense, and you don't know why you're doing them. Well, it's because you have anger in your heart. You have despised what your wife has done. You are despising what you have allowed. You did not put a foot down. You did not take charge. You were not the husband of your wife. You did not love her as Christ loved the church. When Christ loves the church, he doesn't allow his church to just go out and play the harlot. 1 Peter chapter 3. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, to your own husbands. This is telling us that you don't live in an open relationship. You don't allow your wife to just go out and sleep with other men. They're not to be in subjection to other women's husbands. They're to be under subjection to their own husband, their own husbands. You've allowed your wife to go out and play the harlot. Wives, be in subjection to your own husbands. That puts a boundary. A woman is not to go out and to be under subjection to just any man. She's to call her husband Lord in a sense. She's to look at him as her pastor, as her shepherd. She's to go back to that fold, and she's to remain under that sort of authority of her own husband. If any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives. And this is giving us the reverse here. The husbands can be brought under a type of correction and obedience because of the godliness and godly lifestyle of the wife. While they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear, whose adorning, let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair, wearing of gold, putting on of apparel. Now this is speaking about a type of flamboyance that a woman will display through the outward manifestation. Basically, it's saying that she shouldn't fashion her hair. with plating and wearing of gold and all these accessories and pearls and silver and all these pendants and emblems around her. She shouldn't be highlighting herself to that extent. Putting on apparel, costly array, high maintenance. But let it be the hidden man of the heart, in that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit. A meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God of a great price. That's a great thing before God, for a woman to have a meek and quiet spirit before God. No man likes a loud and rebellious woman, a contentious woman. The Bible tells us it's better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than it is to hear the contentions of a loud and brawling woman. That's not good before God. But a woman who fashions herself in humility and modesty, and she has a meek and quiet spirit, that's in the sight of God of a great price. For after this manner in the old time, the holy women also, who trusted in God, adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands. See, they didn't go out and play the harlot. They didn't consent to open relationship. They weren't committing immorality and adultery and fornication. They weren't loud and rebellious and talked back to their husbands and demanded that they have it their way. No, they were in subjection to their own husbands. They understood that the husbands were their pastor, their shepherd, and they were their protection, their covering. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are, as long as you do well and are not afraid with any amazement. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife. Now this doesn't mean you just give your wife the green light to do whatever she wants to do. Not at all. You honor her in the respect of knowing as unto the weaker vessel. Okay, so you honor her as unto the weaker vessel. She's not a match for you, so you can't use her as a competitor. She's been made as the weaker vessel. That's just the way it is biologically. She's made up, and women are more emotional. So you have to understand those things, and then you have to be flexible in a sense. But like I said, not going and allowing her to do whatever she wants to do, maintaining integrity and structure in the house and the family, and she's going to love that and respect that. And as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. So if this is out of balance, if this is out of alignment, if there's no structure here, then this is what's going to happen. Your prayers will be hindered. They will be stopped up. They will be blocked. Something's taking place that shouldn't be taking place. Therefore, the channel is being hindered. The communication with God. The prayers are now hindered. This is what it means to be in a relationship, folks. Brothers and sisters and friends. And Will Smith, if you're watching. This is what it means. And there's no other way. You can read all the self-help books you want. You can go to all these self-help gurus and read all the philosophy books you want and theorize and think you have the secret, the plan, the way of life, the golden rule. Listen, all that, it pales in comparison to what the true path is like, and that is the path of God that He has laid out for us in His Word. Until next time.